Good afternoon. This is HorseRacingNation.com handicapper Jarrod Horak. We have two Kentucky Derby prep races for our video feature race of the week this week. We're going to start out with the Tampa Bay Derby. That's race 11 on Saturday, March 12th. That's a grade 2 for 3-year-olds, a mile and a 16th on the main track. Looks like we're going to have a pretty good pace in this race. Morning Fire on the inside is going to show some speed. Outwork stretching out. Riker returning, along with Taylor Saval, who's also returning. And then Awesome Banner on the outside, been showing speed at Gulfstream Park. All those horses should be close to the lead in this race, and it could set it up for an off-the-pace runner. Now, the next group of runners will get first run on the favorite and our big late runner, Brody's Cause. And our next group, Rafting, Economic Model, Star Hill, and Destin. Now, Destin and Rafting finished first and second in the local prep for this, the Sam Davis. And then, as I mentioned, Brody's Cause is going to be your big late runner, and he had a good 2-year-old campaign. He's going to make his first start as a 3-year-old in this spot. Now, the 3 horses I like the most, Rafting in here, number 2, he's going to break from post 2. He was second in the Sam Davis, and his speed figures are improving. He's making his second start off the layoff for trainer Graham Motion. He has a nice pedigree, that Tap It, Chris S., a good combination of long distance. So I think he can improve second off the shelf, and he should set a good trip behind those front runners. Destin looked good in the Sam Davis for trainer Todd Pletcher. This is a $400,000 purchase. He's a brother to Creative Cause, who was on the Derby Trail a few years back and had some success. This one obviously has some talent. That was a nice effort last time he put it all together. And Pletcher is 6 for 11 at Tampa Bay. Javier Castellano will ride this one, and he's an excellent route rider. 30% wins in route races. He shows a flat bet profit. And then Brody's Cause is certainly going to be one to look for late. He finished third in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile in his last start. He won the Breeders' Futurity Stakes prior to that. A big late runner is going to get flattered for trainer Dale Romans by the pace scenario in here. I think he'll be passing a lot of horses, and he should run a good race. This should set him up nicely for his final Derby prep in the Bluegrass Stakes. I'm going to make just an exacta in this race. We're going to play a $10 exacta. We're going to put Rafting and Destin on top of Brody's Cause. I think Brody's Cause will set a good trip from the back of the pack, but I think that the 2 horses I like on top, Destin and Rafting, they both have a lot of talent. They have the race over the track, and they're both going to get the jump on him. But I do think Brody's Cause will run a good race. Let's jump across coasts, and let's go to Santa Anita Park. The grade 2 San Felipe will be their 7th race on Saturday, March 12th. Another mile and a 16th race. And both of these races, 85-point Derby point races. 50 points for the winner, 20 for second, 10 for third, and 5 for finishing 4th. Another race, the San Felipe looks like it has a lot of pace. Uncle Lino is going to be one of them that's going to go. Danzig Candy, I Will Score for trainer Jerry Hollendorfer, Smoky Image. Those horses like to run on or near the lead, so we should have a contested pace, and the 2 favorites will be right behind that contested pace, Mor Spirit and Exaggerator. So they're definitely the ones to beat in here. And then Cupid for trainer Bob Baffert, who also has Mor Spirit. He'll be probably coming from the furthest back of the horses. I think he'll be last early, and he'll be passing some tired runners. Now, the horses I like the most in this race, Exaggerator for trainer Keith DeSarmo. He was second in the San Vicente. He won the grade 3 Delta Jackpot as a 2-year-old, and he also won the Saratoga Special. He was second in the Breeders' Futurity, 4th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So he ran 6 times as a 2-year-old, a very busy campaign, and he had a lot of success. Then he came back in that San Vicente, earned his best Beyer speed figure to date. That was an excellent effort behind Nyquist. Couldn't quite go with that one late, but that was a solid 2nd place finish. And I like how Keith DeSarmo is preparing him for the Triple Crown Trail. Started out in the 7 furlong San Vicente. Then he's going to go a mile and a 16th in the San Felipe, a mile and an 1/8 Santa Anita Derby, and then a mile and a quarter in the Kentucky Derby. So I like that distance progression, and I think that Exaggerator is ready to run a good race. Mor Spirit, my 2nd choice in this race. Last time he won the Bob Lewis Stakes. Before that, the Los Al Futurity. He was 2nd in the Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes when he shipped as a 2-year-old to Churchill Downs. That was a good effort on a wet track. He has 5 career starts with 3 wins in 2 seconds. So he's very consistent, and he should be right there based on that pace scenario. Cupid will round out my top 3 in this one. That was a big 2-turn maiden win last time out on February 7th. This one cost $900,000. Son of Tappet. They were expecting him to be good. He put it all together when they stretched him out in his 3rd career start around 2 turns at Santa Anita last time. Obviously, it's going to be tough stepping up and facing these quality stakes foes, but he does have talent. They're expecting him to be a good one. They paid a lot for him, and especially down the road look for him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he ran a good race here. Now here's our $10 exacta in this race. We're going to play a $10 exacta, and we're going to put Exaggerator and Cupid on top of Mor Spirit. Mor Spirit, very solid, as I say. He's never finished out of the exacta, and I think that he's certainly going to be a threat to finish in the top 2. But I think Exaggerator or Cupid have a shot at beating him. Now, if you want to see my exceptional 11 Kentucky Derby contenders, go over to horseracingNation.wordpress.com. I started my list last September. Mohamed was number 1. He's still there. Right now, I have Mor Spirit at number 2. He's been there since last October. Exaggerator sitting number 5 currently. Brody's Cause number 3, the one running in the Tampa Bay Derby. So I have some horses that I really like that are running this weekend on the Derby Trail, and it looks like they're all set to run some pretty good races again. Now last week we did the Gotham Stakes. We were hoping that Conquest Big E would be able to bounce back and run well, but he wasn't able to. So he's going to drop off my list now. He's the only one that drops off my list for this from last week's races. Shagaf won that one over Lauban and Adventist. The Beyer speed figure was 87. Nothing special. I think Shagaf over the long run, certainly he has a lot of talent, a lot of potential, but he's not fast enough right now. Certainly not fast enough to be considered a serious Derby contender. And the Gotham Stakes hasn't been a serious prep in a long time, and I don't think that it's going to be this year. But later on in the year, I still like Shagaf long term out of all the horses that ran in that race. Now, Matt King Cole, another horse that's on my list, he came back Sunday. They were thinking about the Gotham for him. They decided to have his comeback race and an allowance race on Sunday at Aqueduct. Big effort from him. He was able to get out there, set the pace, and hang on. He had every right to get tired. He hadn't run for a few months. He had a respiratory infection. He missed some of the early races like the Jerome and the Withers. They couldn't make it to the Gotham, but they got him back on track now. Nice wire-to-wire win. He's probably going to the Wood Memorial next, and if he does face a horse like Shagaf in the Wood Memorial, I think Matt King Cole has a really good shot. Let's see how he trains up to that race. And that'll wrap up this week's video. We'll be back next week with another Kentucky Derby prep race.